People are saying no sound on stream. How many channel points to redeem audio?
That many. Okay, you know what? I'll just say it again. I'll say it again. My entire street lost power. So it was a thing that happened, and we're back. So yeah, whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's good. It's fine. Nothing we can do about it. So I asked them. They did a whole Warlock discussion in the time where I was sitting here in the dark, and I asked them if they wanted to continue that Warlock discussion or just move on to the next question, and they elected to just move on. So we're just gonna move on, which is fine. We already, lost a bunch of time for waiting for my whoever to fix the power down here. So, moving on. I asked them about mercenaries because we're getting a mercenary stream tomorrow, and we're gonna get like our first set of real details on mercenaries. So what I thought would be kind of fun to do is, and we'll just start back up with Corridon. I'm just gonna reset the counter to 0. Corridon, Kel, Jammies, without knowing the details of mercenaries and what's coming tomorrow, I would like you to explain to me what is coming tomorrow for mercenaries. So, Corridon, explain mercenaries to me without actually knowing what it's about.
I mean, it's the biggest hype thing that we've probably seen, right? Even Battlegrounds wasn't as hyped up because, it was a copy of a copy. They say Mercenaries is one of the most unique things, kind of Slay the Spire, dips into that roguelite style, but they said it's not a deck building, which is very strange because in a card game, an online card-based game, you feel like something based off Slay the Spire or Hearthstone would be very similar to a deck building game, which there isn't. Going through a couple of the rules, it's like if you lose, you can restart, so there doesn't seem like there's a lot of punishment. It's going to be interesting. I think people are going to like it because of nostalgia, seeing the mercenaries, being able to play them, being able to have something other than just cards and Hearthstone, and maybe diving into some of the lore, being able to play as your favorite person from WoW, things like that. Just bringing more to Hearthstone and the Blizzard content than just different expansions every time and having to dump all your money into that. So fingers crossed it's not a duels.
Fingers crossed it's not a duels. Kel, explain mercenaries to me without knowing what's coming tomorrow.
So, like Corridon said, the first word that pops into my head is roguelike. Right, so you're going to be able to transfer your progress between runs, I think, upgrade your hero. One thing that I think we may have seen already is, do you remember the card back where you had to like solve all the puzzles?
Yeah.
Yes.
So one of the puzzles was a market, and you had to like balance like the gold and buying certain items and stuff. I think somehow that is going to be incorporated into mercenaries, like just the way that was set up, where you'll have your gold or you can trade items and stuff like that. Because whenever we see stuff like this, it seems like they hint at stuff like Tavern Brawls have hinted at future content before. So I think that was them kind of maybe throwing a sneaky one in at us. But it also looks like you're going to have choices too. It's not just like... So it looks like there's several paths you can take in some of the screenshots we've seen previously. So maybe it's similar to like a dungeon run where you can choose which buckets and it determines what direction you go.
Interesting. As someone who I'm not big into roguelikes, so I'm very curious if this is going to just trying to kind of like attack that that genre of games and people that are into those kinds of games, or if this is going to be more of a casual, wide scale kind of approach. Jamie's explain mercenaries to me.
All right, so mercenaries is going to be single player. That means one person. So you're going to play by yourself. And yeah. So as you're doing that, you're going to progress along this path that's randomized each time. Randomized meaning that it's going to be different each time. So you're going to select your mercenary, and it's going to have some kind of ability. And this ability is going to let you do something with the map that you're playing on. And on this map, it's going to be different each time. That was the problem with dungeon runs, right? Dungeon runs, it was like you started with the same cards each time. There was kind of like a predictable way to go about it depending on the hero power that you got. You know, it was all going to be the same. Kind of, you were trying to go for the same strategy each time. It made replayability really bad for that mode. I think they need to do something different enough. So, right, getting rid of the cards, let's do something different. They needed, I'm pretty sure there aren't going to be hero powers. I heard this term called alignments. I have no idea what that means, but you know, neutral good, lawful evil alignments, right? Yeah, maybe it'll be that. I don't know. So I'm really like this is kind of what I've been missing in Hearthstone is just something that I can keep doing over and over again, where I don't need to queue into ladder and get stomped by D6 Warlock or play alignment Druid and get absolutely stomped by Hunter. So random, fun solo content. That's what Mercenaries is going to be.
All right. You know what? If they use that phrase word for word tomorrow in that stream, I'll buy you whatever shit that they try to market with it. If they say the words random fun solo contents, it's all yours. All right, let's go reverse order. Jamie's Kel Corden. Let's talk about this big ass BG's update that's coming tomorrow. So, Jammies, what are you most excited for in this big ass BG's update tomorrow?
All the new minions and then like demons coming back. I know people didn't really like that like demons meta, and I didn't like it either. And it was because it was really boring. But these new demons look really cool, so that's what I'm excited for. I think just like the biggest change, it's supposed to all come down all at once, like a big removal and a big addition. Anytime that there's like a big shakeup like that, it's always an exciting time to figure out what's good, and always a frustrating time when you get stomped by what's good.
Kel?
So I was looking at a lot of the changes. Now I'm not exactly 100% sure which, what is it, 36 or 37 cards are being removed, right, and then replaced. So I know what the new cards are, but I'm not 100% exactly which cards are being replaced because I didn't get that far in my research. But looking at it, I personally think dragons are going to be absolutely busted. And it looks like a ton of fun, and it makes me want to actually start playing Battlegrounds again. The beginning of each, I guess I don't really know what to call it, a meta, I guess. Like every reset for Battlegrounds is so much fun because nobody knows what they're doing, and it just makes it feel more exciting, and to me anyway, because it's a less defined. Like right now, if you go into Battlegrounds, you already know what the best comps are. You already know what the best, like, oh, I'm gonna fast level to 5 and get this one specific minion, and then I can force this archetype. Whereas like tomorrow, when this Battlegrounds update happens, you can't do that. You're just on the fly with everybody, and it's so much fun to see things develop that way.
Corden.
Yeah, they essentially just forced a power creep on all of Battlegrounds. They removed all of the minions that were underperforming, trash, people don't really play them, and they have absolutely shattered Battlegrounds. This isn't like when Elementals came in. This isn't like when Quillbores came in, where people want to play the new shiny thing. There's about 10 new shiny things that people are going to try, and people are going to make work, and they're going to work really well. Everything looks broken as hell right now. Like, there is not one thing that I don't want to try. Dragons look great. Demons look great. Pirates look great. And then to think about the heroes that they're introducing as well. So there's your new heroes that you can play, your new shiny heroes as well. It's just going to be such an awesome time where people, as reset, they do start down below. But the biggest thing that I'm excited for is if you look at the tier 5 minions that they've removed, I think anyone who's played any type of Battlegrounds and has gotten any of those minions in tier 5, you have been the saddest person ever, because you can't build a comp around them. You can't do anything well with them. And now that they've introduced better minions into tier 5, it's more rewarding to level up faster because they have just put the 15-point cap on. You cannot get hit for more than 15 until one person is out or DCs. That means you're not getting blasted for 30 when you didn't have a chance. You're actually going to have a chance to find minions that you can build around, and you're not just going to get blasted. If you go with 16 health, you know you're safe. You know you're okay, and you can take riskier plays and level all the way up. This is going to bring back the level to 6 meta, and it's going to be insane.
So, as someone who doesn't play Battlegrounds, with that cap, so say like I have 16 going into a round and no one's been eliminated, and then someone gets eliminated during that round before my round finishes, can I get hit for 16 or is it still 15?
My
Think it's still
understanding is it
15.
would. Yeah, my understanding is it wouldn't take effect till the next round.
Yeah, because
gotcha.
it has to say someone DCs or is already eliminated. So
Gotcha.
the question is, and this is the biggest thing. I don't think it's gonna make ties happen a lot less, because now if people get hit out, like it would require people to get hit at the very same time. If somebody can't get hit for 18, like the ties and the point system are going to be affected in overall for THL, or for even, you know, the gold series right now, the Chinese gold series. It's going to come into effect there because ties aren't going to be as common.
Yeah. Okay.
It's also just going to slow the game down a lot, I think.
See, that makes me wonder what kind of effect that has.
Oh, I think the game just got. I think the gas just got pushed down. Everyone's gonna just tear up. They're gonna find big minions, and then eventually one person leaves, and then you're gonna get popped for 30. Like, it's gonna be horrible for the first little while.
There's one thing I forgot to mention, which is, I think, a negative thing that they're doing. Is they're increasing turn timers.
Oh yeah, that's horrible.
Turn timers are already, like, half the time when I'm playing Battlegrounds, I'm like, dude, hurry up! Like, my turn's done. I don't understand why we need more time. Like, turns are already long enough.
I actually saw Alec respond to a comment like this on Twitter, where he said that the plan was to do it for the first 5 seconds, or for the, like, while everyone's learning the new heroes, and then they're going to reevaluate after a certain amount of time has passed.
Okay, so they're going to do what TFT did then. Like, for the first 2 weeks, there's an extra 5 seconds per round or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's turns 3 to 5 or 3 to 9. There's extended turn, and then I guess probably whenever he said, what is it, the 1st or the 10th of September, I can see they'll probably get rid of it around that time.
Let's hope anyway, because
you just buffed APM, like, straight up, like.
Yeah.
Can I mention something that we actually forgot to mention as well? The Avenge mechanic that they just came out with looks really cool. I have no idea what to do with it right now. I mean, there are some things that I'm thinking of, but I think, like, the effects seem really powerful. So it'll be interesting to see these kind of, like, this last the kind of different build that they had was the taunt build, where you could, like, take mediocre board and, like, you know, get the 4/5 that gives 2 attacks, and the 5/5 that, like, temporarily buffs 2 by, like, your adjacent minions 2/2. So I think this Avenger mechanic will be something similar, where it won't necessarily be tier 1, but it'll be an interesting way that people can kind of edge out wins in the mid game as they transition to the late game.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing the Avenge thing is going to do is it's going to make placement actually more important too.
All right. Dr. Boom, do you have anything to add to that? No? All right. Let's move on, talk about THL. We'll let he's not gonna like this because he said off camera that this is the question he was most concerned about. But since Kel hasn't started a question yet, we'll let Kel start next. So my next question is going to be concerning THL, actually, and the current THL meta. And you can take this a couple of ways. You can take this as right now or after tomorrow once we have these Warlock nerfs. But Kel, what is the best 4 in this current THL meta?
Oh boy. So I'm going to take this as post nerf.
Okay.
So post nerf, we know Warlock's getting hit. 2 changes are coming to Warlock, which means that Shaman is going to get better. Or be more prevalent, maybe. So with Shaman being more prevalent, I think that makes Priest and Hunter also better. So I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of Priest, Shaman, Hunter, Warlock.
Priest.
And I do think that Warlock will still be around post nerf, and it'll still be very good. But I do think those are the 4 classes I think you're going to see the most of. Specifically, I think currently Shadow Priest is still undergoing a lot of refinement, and I don't think it's reached its full potential yet. Now, I know I'm a Priest guy, but I think Priest is going to be up there, like in the top 3 classes in the game. I think post nerf, once that deck gets the attention and the refinement that it needs.
All right. Let's go jammies next.
All right, so all the series are different, but I think the classes are pretty similar, or the classes that are being picked are pretty similar right now. So right now, the classes that are getting picked the most are Warlock, Shaman, Hunter, and Demon Hunter. Those are about the 4 that are the best right now. So with the upcoming Warlock nerf, it's going to make classes that are weaker, or that have been weak to Warlock stronger. So that means that the not the Shadow Priest, but like a more control style priest. Likely more rogues as well, since they can contend against the aggro. Like I do think like a lot of the aggro classes already, like Hunter was a 50-50 with Warlock, it's going to get favored now. Shadow Priest usually got there against Warlock. I don't know if it'll get better now because Shaman is so good against it. Like Shaman in general is really good against these aggressive classes. If we're talking about post nerf, I think that Demon Hunter is still going to be there with the new archetypes and Fel, and then as we saw as the Masters Tours, like the OTK is still a very strong deck. Hunter, just because I think it's a relatively easy class to play. That like for how easy it is, like how strong it is, we'll still see a lot of play. Shaman is going to be the number 1 deck. It'll continue to be the number 1 deck, even if classes start to kind of tech around it. It's so strong at controlling the board early, and its late game tools with the charge call. Getting 2 10-drop minions post Brucon is so powerful. So Shaman will be able to adjust regardless of the way that the meta goes. So what is that? Demon Hunter, Shaman, and Priest. That's my prediction for the 4 best classes in THL moving forward.
All right, Corden.
The thing about THL you got to remember is there's so many different series, right? What's good in Hero isn't good in Legacy. What's good in an open deck list isn't good in a closed deck list. So you really have to remember that there's so many different metas within THL, even that you need to find something that is going to be good against everything in Hero so you don't get swept, or in Legacy you want to target something so it doesn't get through. I don't think Warlock is going to get hit hard enough that it gets removed out of the meta. I think Warlock will always be brought. I think the quest is too strong until they change that quest and the self-damage or the fatigue line isn't an option. I think now you could see maybe the Ultrafire Warlock come back if they're going to nerf some of these cards. Just burn through your deck, burn through their deck, use the Bristlebacks to stay alive. And as we talked earlier, they have so many ways to keep themselves healthy. Aggro can't deal with them now. The thing keeping them the best is Shaman. Shaman is going to be the biggest proponent of when Warlock gets hit. Warlock was the only thing keeping Shaman in check. Quest Shaman dominates aggro. It dominates aggro druid. It dominates face hunter. It dominates anything, really. Anything that wants to play a minion on the board, Shaman deals with it. If you want to, and then it's got 3 very viable plays to play it. Play Quest into aggro. Play Elemental if you need to go absolutely fast. And if you have a mage that's sitting there because you don't see Warlocks anymore, play Doomhammer and hit him in the face for 10 a turn. Shaman is going to be absolutely insane when Warlock gets hit. So Warlock, Shaman. I don't see Hunter coming back. I think Hunter's worst matchup is Shaman. And I truly think that Shaman being brought so much, unless it's Quest, which maybe might get a resurgence because people don't want to play face. I think Hunter's gone. I think Priest is going to be back because the slower Warlock goes, the more a control Shadow Priest or just control Priest, which we saw do decently well in the Masters Tour, is going to come through. And I think there's a high skill cap in the THL that it will allow people to abuse the fact that people aren't used to a control hunter again, or a control priest, sorry, even though we just saw it. And then I agree that Demon Hunter is going to be amazing. Jace as a finisher right now is just so good. And if people are trying to play aggro to pick on Warlock because it got nerfed, Demon Hunter has some of the best lifesteal mechanics and AoE in the game right now, bar none. And Jace just replays all of that. Plus, Il'gynoth as a finisher, Il'gynoth as a tempo, 6 mana 4/8 has to be dealt with. So, Demon Hunter, Shaman, Priest, Warlock.
Alrighty. Let's move into our face or trade round. We have 2 face or trade questions coming at you. One, you guys made this so easy. First one dealing with Shaman, and then right after that we will be talking about Battlegrounds again. So reminder, face or trade question. These are quick rapid fire questions. And these will be the last 2 questions that we will have before one of our contestants are eliminated going into the final duel round. So, another quick rule reminder. Face means that the person answering agrees with the statement, and trade means that they disagree with the statement. So let's start with Corridon. Corridon, face or trade? Since you were just talking about it, Shaman needs to see a nerf tomorrow as well.
Tomorrow, no, because we don't know how it's going to react. I think I don't like knee-jerk nerf. I feel that this Warlock one is a knee-jerk. We just had a round of nerfs 2 weeks ago. Warlock didn't get hit. Now they're hitting Warlock, and I don't want to see another round of nerfs. I don't want another meta to change. It needs to settle down so we can play some games of Hearthstone. I don't want to relearn a third meta. I really don't. I think Shaman was good last expansion. I think Shaman is good now. I think getting rid of Warlock is going to hurt, and we are going to see a Shaman nerf on the 10th, whatever they say. September 10th is where they're going to take a 10-day period to check the meta out, see how things are going, and then they're going to reassess if something happens. On the 10th, yes, I think there will be a Shaman nerf. I would hate to see something happen tomorrow or a quick patch to change Shaman and just kill the class. I think it suffered a lot. I think at the end of the Doomhammer era is kind of slowing down. Even Elemental Shaman is slowing down. I do like that there's a direction for Shaman that isn't just hit them in the face as fast as you can and kill them. There's a lot of play to the quest Shaman. Do you go fast and overload super quickly and get the board, or do you hold back your value? Do you play the more card draw engine? Do you play more overload? That's where I really like Shaman is right now. I don't want to see it nerfed. I do not want to see it. I trade it all the way.
All right, Kel.
So I'm gonna go face with this. Actually, I do think that Shaman should see a change. Not necessarily because it's unmanageable, but so as of the last VS report, Shaman actually accounts for a higher percentage of ladder than Warlock does. Shaman was accounted for 18% across all ranks, whereas Warlock came in at a close second at 16% across all ranks. So Shaman is already kind of overtaken Warlock on the ladder. Now, maybe that's because it's a good matchup into Warlock, right? Or it's at least an even matchup. But once Warlock is down, everybody's saying that that Shaman is keeping Warlock down. But what's going to keep Shaman down? I think that's what we're going to run into is, we're robbing Peter to pay Paul here. We're nerfing Warlock, but now Shaman is just going to take its place and be as oppressive as Warlock was to begin with. Now, I don't know exactly what change needs to happen for Shaman. Maybe something to do with the quest, slow it down a little bit. But I think that if we don't change anything for Shaman, it could potentially become as problematic as people feel Warlock is now.
Okay, interesting. Jammies.
I disagree. I'm gonna trade on this one for a couple of different reasons. So, unlike Warlock and Demon Hunter, the first two quest completions for Shaman aren't very powerful. The refreshing your mana can be powerful against aggro, but if you're against control, it like you kind of want to save your resources. And that brings me to my second point: is that Shaman has absolutely no card draw. So even if they manage to get their like first two sections of the quest complete really soon, it's still good. Like it might take them a while to get to the Brucon finisher that they need against like the powerful deck or the like mid range control decks that aren't or not control but combo decks that are trying to kill them before they can get to that point. And if if you're not playing any minions, it's hard for them to complete a lot of their Overlord cards require or are stronger if they're using it to remove minions instead of pointing it to your board. So like Shaman card draw is so bad that you're playing a 2/3 that may draw a nature spell from your deck, but you're playing a deck that doesn't run all nature spells, just in the hopes that it'll draw your 6/4 lifesteal, as the only elemental that you run in that deck. Like, it's very tutored, and even then, it's not successful most of the time. So as a whole, I think there are enough classes that check Shaman. So the reason that Shaman is being played is because there's people playing Hunter and people playing Priest that are trying to beat the Warlocks. Even if the nerfs aren't significant, Warlock is going to naturally see a decrease in play. Like, people didn't think that these last couple of nerfs were as impactful, but we've already seen a dip. I haven't really seen D6 Warlock on ladder. I've seen Handlock. But, as they go away, less Hunters, less Priests, less aggressive decks, more decks that were just a little bit slower than, these big giants and, the D6 combo if someone were able to get it off. That's why I don't think Shaman needs a nerf at this point. I think Mage is really strong into it. Garrett Rogue is pretty strong into it. They can get through up there, like especially the I forget the 3/2 that draws decks based or that draws cards based on battle cries. That's fast enough to get there before the Brucon. So yeah, I think there's plenty enough in the meta right now that if you see a little bit less Warlock, it should even out. Or even scarier, a deck that is oppressive that we don't know about that was being held in check by Warlock is going to emerge, and everyone's going to take to Twitter and complain.
Incoming Juggernaut Warrior.
I was going to say the same thing. Please let it happen. My God, let it happen. All right, last question in Face Trade before we eliminate one of our players. Kel, would you like to go first or last here?
I'll go first.
All right. Let's do it. Last question. BG's THL. Face or trade. Kel. The BG's update will have no impact on the THL series regarding the standings and team power levels and whatnot.
Oof. That's actually a tough question. So I'm gonna go trade for sure because this is a huge shakeup. Generally, so I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I'm sorry. This is too big of a shakeup for it not to make a difference, right? So, like, even people who religiously play Battlegrounds every day, this is a major change. So they're not just going to be able to go in and top 2 every single game they play, even if they can do that now, because the meta is going to be completely different. There's a new keyword. They're removing all kinds of stuff with the 15 damage cap. That's going to change things too. So some of these teams in Battleground series that are struggling now, this, in my opinion, is there a chance to catch up maybe, because there's going to be there's no skill gap between like the top team and the bottom team going into a brand new meta, right? Like, everybody has to learn it the same. So obviously some people are a little more gifted in learning their metas, but this is going to even out the playing field, in my opinion, at least for the first probably 2 weeks until the meta settles down and people actually learn how this is going to work. So if those bottom teams are able to put in more practice and effort than maybe some of the top teams, then I think it'll absolutely make a huge difference, and it could shake up the standings pretty significantly.
All right. Corridon. I apologize, by the way. Until now, I forgot to add your season 2 victory crown onto your portrait up there, so I threw that up
Yeah,
there
it's been
for
a
you.
while.
Yeah,
The
my bad.
Dorito.
Yeah, there's the Dorito for you. Corridon, first trade.
Face. I have to face this one. If you look at the standings right now, the teams that are doing well because they are smashing lobbies. It's not like they're doing ones and fours and five. Like they're getting ones and ones and twos. They're winning the lobbies. They're coming second. Like there was a big thing. Crafty Monkeys. Literally every single one of their players won a lobby this week. That's a first for all of them. 10 points across the board. Like that is fantastic. Same as Risky Refresh. One of their players, I hope I don't put Sazuru got 1-1, won both lobbies. 20 points. Best you can get. Like amazing job. I think those players, as Kel said, maybe, everyone's learning the meta. I think some people are going to learn it a lot faster. And that's why we see teams that are still dominating right now. I think there are people like Miwi, who is very poured into the Battlegrounds community and is probably already formulating guides and ways and is just so in depth with that Battlegrounds community. They're automatically going to have a leg up. People like Steffi and Riots, who are very integrated in that community, they're just surrounded by it. So maybe my Twitter looks like, standard stuff, and Marty B's looks like wild because that's just where we gravitate. A lot of these people who take Battlegrounds to the very serious degree, they're surrounded by Battlegrounds content. So they're going to know the best ways to do things. They're going to know the best not matchups, but the best boards to create, the things to go towards and gravitate. And they already have that ingrained 10K brain on ladderboard that they're just going to be an absolute maniac playing and just test everything and break things. Like that's what these people want to do. They want to break it and they want to be the best that there ever was.
I don't know if that was an intentional Pokemon reference.
Oh, it was.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Jammies.
I'm going to trade on this one. And my hot take is that Don Daith, contrary to their name, is going to finish second in the BG's Kappa series. And I'll tell you why. This is actually Myanodon and Donde's first time playing BGs. They started playing about a month ago. Myanodon already has more points than me, so that just kind of speaks to the level of player that I am in BGs. But, as we were formulating this team, we thought, what would be really, really good is if we brought in people that never played, so this would be the first meta that they learned. And then they could just become experts in this meta. So we've already seen Myanodon understand how to build your board, how to set up the best, how to set up the best boards and win your game. He actually took a first place last week. So, he's doing that on a month's time. So to relearn this new one is going to be a piece of cake for him. Donde is another story. He learns pretty quick, but obviously not as fast as Myanodon. And we have some head scratching moments from our captain there, and our namesake for our team. So that's the biggest shakeup is that Don Daith will not finish 8th and will finish 2nd behind the Crafty Monkeys. I actually don't think that there's a way that we could catch them, but everyone else, watch out. Yeah.
Interesting. That's very interesting. That's a very hot take as well. Okay. If that happens, I don't follow BG series, but I would be watching that shit like a hawk to watch this ragtag team of Bad News Bears come up to second and take it to the finals.
Brushy hasn't played either. He hasn't played in like a month, and I play like once a week. So
he
used to play tournament.
Yeah, he used to play a ton before he win.
Brushy's one of those guys who's gonna understand the meta very quickly.
Exactly.
he's one guy on your team, whereas other teams have quite a few people who are going to be like, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Brushy, like the first game that we played this season was like I don't even know what half of these minions do. I just picked the good ones, and I think he ended up finishing pretty well his first week.
All right. Well, it is maybe we'll call it a saloon welcome as we say goodbye to Kel for I guess a couple of questions here. We only have 2 questions in the duel round here. But Kel, we bid you adieu just for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll bring you back on and you can get your last words in. All right. Let's we got 2 questions left. 1 legacy and 2 hero. Like the second one's hero, not 2 hero questions. But yeah, let's reset the counts. Let's enter the finals, enter our duel, and we will start off with Mr. Corridon, who is in the lead. After Corridon answers, Jamies will go, and then question 2, Jamies will start off, and then Corridon will go second. So let's start off with Legacy. Let's talk about fish. So I felt very proud of this. 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish or blue fish? Which fish team do you feel has the edge in Legacy? 2 different conferences. One's doing a little better than the other, but we're only 3 weeks in. How you feeling?
I am a redfish believer at this point in time. Simply because, well, the scores speak for themselves, but if you also just look how the teams are performing, sorry, did I mess myself up? I'm a bluefish believer. I lied. Sorry, I'm a bluefish believer. What am I doing?
You're a bold man.
I was a bold man, and I was a wrong man. Sorry, I am a bluefish believer. Just looking at RoboCats and A2 as a 3-0 right now, staying in a constantly changing meta undefeated in Legacy is extremely good. It goes to show that you need to know your stuff across all decks, and with the meta that has been shaken up so much, it's very impressive to see that. I think Hickett has put together a very strong team. The reason I don't like Redfish is because they're quite new. Truth AM and Karatedom, I believe, are the newer rookies, and I feel are still finding that elusive first win. I know Redfish also lost a permanent member and picked up Phoenix, who has been out a little bit. He hasn't played Legacy this season. He played the season before, so I think he's doing fine. He's a 1-1, so he's right there. Average as can be, really. And Two Fly is doing well in the 5, but I really do feel that when it comes down to who's going to win, I mean, Bluefish already has the 2 wins. Technically, they're an undefeated team. They have not been beaten yet. They have 1 tie. They have 2 wins. They're completely undefeated. You can go over and look at their average opponent strength, but Bluefish at a 12.33 and Redfish at a 13.17. I mean, it's not a huge margin of difference. It's not like you're looking at Team Justin, who has 17 as their average opponent strength. So they faced very similar opponents, and Redfish has just done a lot better with the challenge of coming through and being the bigger fish in a small pond.
Jammies.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at all the tangibles, right? If you look at the tangibles, record, average opponent strength, points per win, conference, Bluefish is just at the advantage in all of those. So you would be a fool to think that Redfish is going to finish with a better record. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm no fool. I am no fool. I'm still not going to take Redfish. There's no way. There's just like by any metric, like that you can't. Like and I think like the biggest detriment to them is just the conference that they're put in. Like it's. I think at the beginning of the reveal stream, everyone said Silver Conference is just the conference to beat, and it's the one that has the tightest range of scores. If we look at gold, 57 to 19, look at red, 61 to 25, and then we look at silver, 56 and 34. So that's a margin of 22 points. The rest of them are 30 plus. It's a tight conference, and they're doing well. They're they're 10 points behind fourth place. You look at if you give 10 points to everyone else in last, like, they're nowhere near. I think they move up one spot maybe. So Bluefish it could very well be that Redfish is the better team. Their conference is completely against them. They're also up to a really rough start. 2 members on their team are 0-3 on Redfish. It kind of gets demoralizing, and then you see the rest of the team isn't really picking up the slack either. And it's hard when 2 of your teammates are 0-3. I think Bluefish is going to make the playoffs. I think Redfish is going to look like a different team next year if they decide to keep it together.
All right. We have one final question. Oh,
Can I just say one thing before we move on?
It.
I'm the Bluefish and he's the Redfish.
It's true. You're wearing blue. He's wearing red. Didn't even think about
it.
I'm actually a salmon.
Oh, sorry. Right.
The lighting is bad in here.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. We have one final question, starting with Jamie, moving to Cord, and afterwards, let's talk hero. Let's talk one specific matchup. A matchup that I would have loved to have had our defending champion from last week on to talk about. But someone decided they were going to come back from camping today. So Diamond's not here with us. So we're going to talk about at Diamond versus Vote of Some Confidence. Jammies, who you got? These are 2 pretty evenly matched teams.
Yeah, and even if we look at the seeds, it's pretty close on either end. So the only way to fairly judge this is to go down the list player by player and kind of see where I think the advantage is. I think a lot of these players are very close, so it's going to come down to classes. But if I'm just going on, current record, how they've been doing this season, and the opponents that they faced, let's look at the 1 seeds. Lotus Knight versus Heat Shock, both at 2-1. I'm going to give the edge to Lotus Knight on that one, and I think that one will be real close. I'll give it a 3-2. Again, this is just pure speculation, just on ability. The nerfs are coming up. I just got to add a lot of stipulations in case I'm wrong. Just in Time versus Skillets. Just in Time's having a little bit rougher season, but I think he'll bounce back. Take the W there. Mick and Ridiculous Hat, both starting off at 1-2, both very strong players. Ridiculous Hat has been posting some good stats on ladder with the new Demon Hunter decks that are coming out. So I think that's what's going to put him over the edge and take on that matchup if he decides to bring it. Ridiculous Hat. Diamond and Thalfix, I think is how you say that. It was recently Diamond's birthday. He's riding that high. I think he's going to get a little too cocky, and Thalfax is going to jump to that 4-0. So it really comes down to our 5-seed match between Ruski and Jim. Jim is a legacy teammate of mine, and on our team, his name is Jimmy Clutch. So I'm going to trust him to clutch this one out, and with the bottom 3 seeds taking the overall dub for the Vote of Some Confidence in their win over Diamond this week.
Gordon?
So I'm going to flip it. I got to see Diamond. Not only I got to support my fellow Canuck in Diamond, but you just look at the stats on it. Right now, they're neck and neck for 3rd place, but Diamond in average strength is at a 14, whereas Vote of Some Confidence has the lowest I think I've ever seen in an 11.5. I've never seen a lower average opponent score. I've only been around for a couple seasons, but that just seems extremely low to me. And the reason I'm giving the edge to Diamond is because each of their games has been close. They've never gotten blown out, and they've never blown anybody out either. They've been very consistent. Their players are doing very well for themselves. And Vote of Some Confidence, I don't think they're going to realize what they're coming into when they do have to face a team that has been consistent, that has been really bringing their best to it. Not saying Vote of Some Confidence isn't, but I think they've had an easier path leading up to this clash. And I really do think that with Diamond, the way they've been playing, you can't really go down and say, Heat Shock over Lotus. It can go any way. Meta's changing. Things are different. But you just look at the stats, look at how things are, and there's a reason that Diamond is looking as good as he does. And as a captain, man, I don't think you can beat the guy a lot of times.
All right. Well, the winner tonight is Dr. Boom with a staggering 7 points here. I mean, sorry guys, like
Damn.
you just had to beat 7. That was it. But in the end, he's Dr. Boom's not here with us, so Corden taking it with a 5-4, and Bone Masher is donating. No one decided this entire show that they were going to spend any
Why
points.
gotta be like this?
Any points, and then.
I thought at the end we couldn't do points anymore.
Yeah, but this show's already fucked up.
Oh.
Let's just. Oh, you got to point up. Wait, hold on. We'll let one more person decide this win. That's not
lethal.
Oh, let's see. Who's gonna be the last decider? I'm just gonna let someone else decide it. What's gonna happen? Oh, Corden, winner tonight. Look at that. It's fine.
Thank you, Isocleash.
You already won it, so just nope. Jamie's trying to sneak himself in that. Nope. I said one more. All right. Corden, you have the floor. Anything you'd like to say?
I'm excited for Battlegrounds. As much as I say, it's not going to shake it up, it is great. The one thing I do want to mention that I don't like is they have Battlegrounds big installation today, and they're going to announce Mercenaries tomorrow. I hate that. It's going to overshadow one or the two, and it's going to be Battlegrounds that gets overshadowed, because Mercenaries is a nice new shiny thing. I hate it. I wish they gave them each their own week to figure it out. Let the people who like Battlegrounds have their moment, and then let everyone figure Mercenaries out together. I really don't like that they're doing it this way, but I digress.
I add on to that.
Yes.
Standard changes.
Standard changes. No one's gonna know what to do. Like, it's just everyone's gonna walk around and bring the same stuff and roll over. I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, I mean that'll just take up. I think you're right though. I think doing the Battlegrounds today is going to just completely kill any hype tomorrow, because you're going to have people talking about standard changes and Mercenaries and not talking about Battlegrounds anymore.
Yeah, the biggest thing is you won't be able to play Mercenaries, but you'll be able to play Battlegrounds, and that will be the playable thing. But everyone wants to be through all the podcasts. Like, I'm telling you, like Our Hat, the Coin Concede guys, all these, the Angry Chicken, they're all going to be talking about Mercenaries tomorrow. And it's just, it doesn't give Battlegrounds the time to shine, which I think sucks, because Battlegrounds doesn't have a lot of opportunity to be anything. There's no tournaments, there's no support for it. It's just, a lot of the streamers who are doing a lot of tournaments for the community, and it really sucks to see them open Battlegrounds and have so much support for it, and then just absolutely do nothing with it.
Are we sure we won't get like a beta or something tomorrow? Because we did get one for duels like day
for Mercenaries,
and we got one.
I would
for
be
Battlegrounds
extremely surprised if they gave a demo or something for everyone to play. I think maybe they'll play something on stream and show it, but like that's a lot. I feel like that would be a lot, and they'd have to download stuff. Like, we'd have a big patch, I feel, if we were going to see a full game demo downloaded on the client, but I could be wrong.
All right. Kel, Jamie's last words.
Go ahead, Jamie's.
They're doing Twitch drops for Mercenaries.
Yes. Yeah.
So it might be for like early access kind of stuff, but I would be very surprised if.
I think it's card packs, isn't it? I think it's just 2 card packs.
It's card packs.
Oh, okay. I thought it was maybe early access.
If you watch like however long it is, you just get 2
It's like 4 hours.
Something like that. Yeah.
Make sure to click on your Twitch, because they're not doing it automatically anymore.
Yeah, connect your Twitch and all that stuff.
As far as my final word, I'm actually upset we're not getting more updates, because as an arena and the duels player, I need some updates to my other game modes at the same time as all these other updates because that would only make sense. Yeah, I'm excited. BG's has been getting kind of stale even with the reintroduction of like the Dark Moon prizes, and it seems like the problem with Hearthstone and like I guess computer like kind of strategy games like this is that all the data gets compounded and that everyone's using the software that tells them the ideal minion to buy and like the most successful comp they could build with their current options and stuff like that. That kind of gets boring. But when new stuff comes out, it takes a while for all that data to compile. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to having a lot of fun with these new keywords and minion types.
Kel, anything before we send it off?
Yeah, so I'm excited to hear more about Mercenaries tomorrow. I do sort of agree with Corridon in that it does feel like it's kind of taking away from the big BG's revamp by doing it all in the same day. But everything I've read about some of the supposed leaks or whatever about Mercenaries, it seems like it's going to be fun, and they've put a ton of work into it. So I'm excited to try it out. So I'll definitely be tuning in tomorrow. Maybe I'll get back into Battlegrounds too. Who knows?
All right.
It's
Awesome.
the time to do it.
12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.
Is it 12 p.m. you said?
Wow, that's
12
early.
p.m. Eastern. Yep.
That's super early.
It's
12?
9 a.m. 9 a.m.
12
PST, right? Yeah.
I
Mhm.
feel
I,
like
thought that's,
12 is
I think it's
very...
always 2
I thought it was
No,
1
I saw-
usually.
or 1 p.m.
It's
I got-
usually 1 p.m. EST because that's
Yeah.
10 a.m. Because that's 10 a.m. PST, which is Blizzard time or whatever.
I had notification that it was going to be 10 a.m. my time, and I'm Mountain time, so it's like
Ah.
12
So,
p.m.
yeah.
Eastern.
It's always
Yeah.
been 2 o'clock my time, so.
All right. All right. Well, with that, thanks for being here. We'll be back in 2 weeks. There will be a Maniac Monday tournament next Monday, so look for that announcement probably sometime this week. Yeah. All right. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Wave goodbye. Wait. Yeah. All right.